The company we choose for this project is OXXO. We choose this company because of the impact it has on the society, the disadvantage for small companies, and the positioning strategy that they use to cover a large part of market. The OXXO chains belong to a group called FEMSA, Fomento Económico Mexicano. The company is the largest beverage chain of Mexico, which is also composed of Cervecería Cuauhtémoc Moctezuma, which have achieved a position in the beer market fastest growing in Latin America, and the Coca-Cola brand FEMSA is the second largest in the world. OXXO is not a franchise. Most of the stores are operated under a mercantile commission. This means that cannot be both but only handled by a person named leader of the store.
In 1978, opened the first stores in the city of Monterrey. The following years began operation in Chihuahua, Hermosillo, and Mexicali. In 1982, the concept of the shop leader was created, who is a merchant's commissioner who worked in the company of his family attending. All the same, OXXO.
The rise of OXXO began when Vicente Fox became President of the Republic. In July 2003, the newspaper El Independiente, which was owned by Argentine Carlos Ahumada, now a prisoner. Fox relevant relationships with employers in FAMSA Group, noting that the president was during the decades of the 90s of the executive Coca-Cola. A grocery store, unlike a convenience store, is a small physical location where people can purchase daily consumer goods, especially food. It is an independent property, usually for a family where it is operated for profit.
This store have affected more than thousands of people. According to the president of the Business Coordination Council Mexicans, 35 shops per one opening with a 5 kilometers close. For every 6 people 10 get jobs, but 50 become unemployed. Grocery stores have a great contribution to the economy, since the value of their invoices covers 39% of the total GDP. They also have a social importance, the number of jobs created each year and livelihood for millions of families.
The small corner shops are in extinction. Not so long ago, we used to go to this corner shop to buy basic products. Nowadays, this shop has been replaced by convenience stores. The most recognized in Mexico is the OXXO, which has researched 10,000 establishments around the country. It is impossible to walk by 3 or 4 streets without finding an OXXO. Every time an OXXO opens a new establishment, the earnings of the small corner shop tend to decrease, and in consequence a lot of these stores have to close. The point of this is to realize that OXXO has great advantage over the small establishments, mainly in the profits. Ineconomies occur when assets or money reply flow out a country due to uneconomic consequences. In 2009, Economic Census of Mexico reported that up at the time, OXXO stores total 8,000 throughout the country. But the figures that saw becoming the 11,000 operating in the territory. From 2014, it's open every 8 hours, and FAMSA Group says its goal is to open one every 2 hours.
The business leaders predicted to maintain its current growth rate, also end up with 40% of family immigrant enterprises country. Buying Oxos is almost 25% more expensive than a grocery. The store offers a number of advantages as proximity, scheduled 24 hours in many cases, easy access, spend convenience of making purchases. The strategy is selling products to fast everyday life of people. This strategy is more difficult for small shop grocery in the market. Today, in our country, the current grocery stores still survive thanks to the custom of Mexican as fiado, which doesn't happen in a OXXO or a 7-Eleven store.
One example is the economic situation is difficult because we don't have an economic friends behind us. When these excesses are obviously injure the native people because it's very difficult to compete with a company that has a large marketing and sales that are in your environment and disappearing.
Then they work in a diabolical spiral of outsourcing in which the company does not lose a single thread before the conciliation and arbitration nationwide legal formality because it's not the company they work for the store employees.
On the other hand, the number of corner grocery stores covering 60% of the Mexican economy. Hence, its importance and the problem will represent his disappearance of many Mexican families whose incomes depends of this business. OXXO had a background at national level. It has 9,500 establishments. The company is aware of the social and environmental responsibility to create economics and social values for their employees and the community where they operate. OXXO thinks it's very important to preserve our planet for future generations. This has given also a good positioning in the Mexican community. This is the reason why you can find an OXXO in each corner of the city, offering a great variety of products and exclusive brands at accessible prices that everyone may need, from young person to housewives. OXXO is the best option when you can't go to a supermarket. OXXO has also helped to stop polluting the environment where we live.
As Mexicans, we always let ourselves be carried by the greed for growing chains and stopped consuming in Mexican and national stores. The lack of information and the excess of marketing are great influencers, so that little by little small shops are disappearing. We should raise awareness about how we buy and where to help small Mexican entrepreneurs. We always complain about the situation in which our country, but we don't start to make small changes to be able to improve. As long as we continue in this position and giving priority to foreigners instead of supporting our people, the only thing we will achieve is to worsen the situation of our country.